From a very cold and gloomy day, something quite beautiful about it. I don't know if you can see out there, and while we're waiting for everybody to come in, I'll show you the view through the rainy portrait of Neisner. First rain that they've had for a while, so we welcome it in. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Christina. Nice to see you here. I'm kind of balancing my phone. So welcome. How is it going in your part of the world? Today is day 11 of the active appreciation 28-day challenge. Hi, Colleen. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And today we're talking about the art of flexibility and how to appreciate flexibility. And yeah, what if every day could be a holiday? What if we could actually celebrate not knowing? Yeah, safe, thank you. It's good to be here. I have unfinished business in Neisner. It's always had a piece of my heart. For those of you who are tuning in from overseas, Neisner is in the Garden Route in the Western Cape, and it is a very magical part of the country. So I'm going to keep it short today. The ability to adapt, absolutely. Hi, Mark. Nice to see you here. And for those of you that have been on this journey with me for the last 11 days, how are you deepening into your practice of appreciating the unknown, of stepping out of your comfort zone? And not needing to know why you perhaps feel so stuck in the reason. You know, why is not a very great question to ask. If you're asking why, you're already in the victim mode, and we talked about that a little bit yesterday. So just type in the comments in the comments below. Let me know where you are not appreciating flexibility and being able to adapt to any situation, because I know that my A-type personality, I like to be in control, and actually it's all an illusion anyway, along with time and everything else. And what if we didn't need to know? What if we didn't need to know what's next? What if we could actually appreciate the adventure of that? You know, and one of the things going on with me is whenever I kind of build up to a trip, and yes, there's a plan, but there has to be flexibility in the plan. I have a dongle, I have backup so that I could connect with you today. And when I checked it out, it wasn't working 5 minutes ago. So, you know, I'm really appreciating that there's always an option. There's always something that is often disguised as a gift that we take as a disaster or a trauma or an emergency. I've come up here to see a client. She's busy moving into her new house, and I'm here to cleanse and purify and bless and do some work with a business as well. And when I got to her home this morning, the contractor said that all the lights were tripping. Oh, it's my pleasure, Patricia. It's good to see you here. So just around the theme of appreciating flexibility today, when we got to the house, the contractor was there, and they had a problem that because the electricity kept tripping. And he said that when he went through all of it, it seems to be a problem with the geyser. And that could seem like a disaster, considering that the moving trucks are coming tomorrow, and everything is planned as much as we have control of the plan. And that's another side note, but hi, you hate waiting? Okay, sorry, I don't know, I'm a little scattered today. It must be the water energy. We've got the Scorpio full moon, and this really is a great time to really, again, look at the things that are not working for you, and to just be open to appreciating being flexible in your plans. That's the beauty about what I love about my job, is as long as I have an internet connection, I can work from anywhere. That is the freedom of being an entrepreneur, and all you need these days is a good internet connection. So we're here, and I was talking about this seeming disaster, about to move into my client's about to move into her new house, and the there's the geyser. It looks like they need a new element. And if it hadn't have happened, so if you just kind of step back and you push pause, we talked about pushing pause yesterday. We step back and look at this. It's like, okay, we'll phone the plumber and let's investigate what's going on with the geyser. Maybe we'll need a new geyser. The gift in all of that is that if the geyser hadn't actually been tripping the electricity in the first place, she wouldn't have actually realized that she didn't have insurance on the building. So the goods are insured, but the house wasn't insured. So tomorrow, big moving trucks coming, walls could be damaged. The rain has started. Neisner had a huge, big flood a couple of years ago, and a couple of my friends' houses actually literally disappeared into the lagoon. So why am I telling you this? Because that is the art of appreciating flexibility and being able to see beyond what might look like a drama or an emergency or something that you don't want, that actually turns out to be a gift. Because one phone call, the house, right, the actual building is now insured, and had that geyser not been tripping the lights, she might not have never found out, and maybe something else would have happened. So remember that it's our nature to actually want to always go to the wrongness of everything. And this is really where we want to look at expanding out of the why. There's always a gift. Yeah. And if we're always in why is this happening to me? Why am I not getting anywhere? Why? You're already in the victim mode. Hi, Anjana. Nice to see you here. So, one of the things just with my, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the art of flexibility and appreciating that you have the freedom to choose to change your mind in any given moment. Just because you choose to commit to something doesn't mean that you can't change your mind. That is the freedom and the lifestyle, right? The freedom lifestyle that I've created. I'm not saying it doesn't take hard work and it doesn't take a certain amount of planning and organization, but you have to get out of the distractor implants of looking for problems that aren't even a reality until you actually made them a problem. Good to see you, Anjana. And this is where the guilt and the blame and the shame and the what ifs all come in, and it's just down the rabbit hole. I know that I travel a lot for my business, and when my daughter, from when she was really little, I'm really, really glad that I've brought her up to not need me. Okay, so the difference between need from a place of lack and need from a place of I have everything that I require, and what do I desire? And if you look up the definition of need in the dictionary, it's always on the negative. It's always coming from a place of lack. And I am so in deep appreciation that I have raised my little girl to not need me from a place of lack. It's just part of life. She knows that I sometimes go away for long periods of time, and her life works great because, of course, there's some planning, and it's effortless, and we're all aiming for effortless abundance all the time. Thank you. Keep bringing me the hearts and the love. I love it. The rain's really coming in now. So where are you being so rigid in the way that you think, the expectations, that you are living your life from a why that is not actually moving you towards what you truly desire? And one of the things going on with me often when I'm in the why already and I'm in that victim stage is that it's kind of like when I close my eyes, I just bring myself back into that pause. I push stop, and I meditate. I just get myself still. I get myself really, really still, and it feels like you're about to jump off a plane without a parachute or a 10-meter diving board. And a lot of times that free will is very painful because it's the death of your old story. So if you think that you are the death of the old story, then you have to cling onto the sides of the aeroplane. Am I making sense? Thank you for the love. Hi, Tracy. Nice to see you. Yeah. So, you don't have to stay there in the what if, in the why, because it's really heavy and it's hard to hold on to when you are attached to your comfort zone. So you need to just expand yourself out, and maybe remind me later. Maybe we do an expansion exercise that I use to get me to stretch outside of taking risks, being daring, right? That's where the adventure happens. That's where life is joyful and beautiful and fun. And yet we're so clinging to the sides of the airplane, to the old stories of, oh, well, the last time I went away, all hell broke loose. Excuse me. I mean, a lot of times I go away and it's really amazing, because the gate will break, and my family been sitting in with power cuts and whatever. That was then, and this is now, and all we have is the present. So you have to let go of the old story of all the reasons and justifications why you think that you cannot have the flexibility to work from anywhere in the world, right? Your life, your business needs to fit into your life, and if you're living your life from the joy of business, you can work anyway. You can work anyway, and you have to let those old attachments fall away. Stop being so attached to your story. Is it always going to be easy and effortless? No, but it's always coming from a place that's got to be bigger than your why. So if you are in this place that you would rather stay in the familiar and go back to the old patterns, then all you're going to get is the world is going to match your crap to validate your old story. And this is where we get stuck in the why. So where can you start to expand the outside edges of your story to be more flexible? We talked about the difference between targets and intention during the week. We don't want goals. Goals lock us up. If you have things so rigid that you can't move anywhere, and that if one thing goes wrong, then everything is wrong, nothing ever changes. So you have to start to look at where are your results actually exactly what you're asking for. Okay, if you want to know why things are happening and you're not maybe getting the progress, or you're not moving in the direction that you want, look at what you did yesterday. Go there and have a look at what that is, and let go of the attachment. Let go of all the projections and the rejections and the expectations and the separations and all the decisions and judgments and those beautiful old conclusions that you think something isn't working. And that's the place that 90% of people actually quit, just when they're about to let go of the aeroplane. Yeah. And the beautiful thing here there is that when you live from a place of alignment and vision and focus on what your target is, you don't need the courage, and you certainly don't need the confidence, because it's just who you are. It's just who you are. And that's the beautiful thing about it. If in nature, the trees aren't going, oh my gosh, oh, there's little birds out there on the lagoon today. They're still jumping around. They're still foraging for their food. They're not saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. Everything is a disaster because it's raining. I can't sing today because the rain's wet my feathers. You never see nature function from why. Why is this happening to me? It's just like, okay, it's raining. How can I use this to my advantage? How can I change this to be more expansive and more aligned with what I want rather than what I don't want? What do you do today? Absolutely. If you want to see what's going on in your life, look at what you did yesterday. Everything else falls away. Isn't it a beautiful place? So you have to go deep down. You have to go really, really deep down. And you know what? Eventually, those little pieces of your old story start to die off. But if you're going to keep holding on to the side of the airplane, if you're going to keep saying, oh my God, I can't shine today because the sun's not out, you can still receive from the sun even though you can't see it. And yet we're the only species silly enough. And when I talk about being stupid, it's not that you're stupid, that you have nothing to prove, nothing to hide, but that you have to be willing to look that even if you can't, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's changing. And keep going. If you fall off the horse, get up and get back on it. Okay? That's the death of the old story. And it can be the most intense pain. I know, I've been there. I have decided to hold on oftentimes in my life, a lot longer than I should have. But I did it because there was that place of there was something to prove, and off I went looking for evidence. So you have to be willing to look at the most intense pain is when you're holding on. And when you finally just let go without needing to know why or what it is, it lets go on its own. So when do you realize how crazy you've been and how crazy it actually is, that what you're holding on to, you know, we always look on the other side of it, don't we? And go, oh my God, why didn't I do that earlier? It's the resistance to ease and effortless abundance. You know, there is nothing to prove. It's all the bad programming. And you might, you know, you might be thinking, what the hell is this? And that's the part you can't. It's not linear. It's an intuitive thing. It's a feeling. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. You know, you can't meditate yourself into abundance. That's why this is about active appreciation, because you need to actively be giving yourself time to meditate, giving yourself for the radical self-care every single day, giving yourself time. Is the most precious commodity, because you know what? Let's face it, we are all in physical bodies that have an expiry date, and how fast you get to the death of your physical bodies is totally up to you. A lot of people that I know are so rigid in their ideas and their conclusions that they're killing their body. You know, that's 99% of the world that are waking up every day wishing their lives away because they are stuck in jobs and relationships and situations that are actually not aligned with their vision. I know, we're silly, aren't we? We're really, really silly. So, you know, let yourself sit there. Let yourself sit there, because the more that you realize that it's a lie, that we're being silly, that we're actually cutting off our awareness, because that's all stupidity is, cutting off our awareness that we know, like we know, like we know. We contract, right? We close our hearts. We put the barriers up, which we talked about yesterday. And you know, you might need to be okay with the discomfort of not knowing, and with the discomfort of actually knowing it's a lie. So where are you making lies true that actually aren't, to keep you stuck in the comfort zone of the devil you know rather than the devil you don't? Where are you selling your soul to the devil and killing your joy by trying to keep things that are ready to let go away? This is this watery energy that's coming up on this full moon that's really asking us to go deep down into that dark water that we're afraid of because we can't see the bottom, and go down there and let yourself float up to the top and transmute it and turn it into alignment and reset your compass direction. Go for a walk, you know, walk about with that discomfort for a while longer. We talked about pushing pause. We talked about tense and release, which is part of how we reset the nervous system. Is we would rather say yes than sit in the discomfort of our no, because it's so intense, and we misidentify intensity as pain. So everywhere you have been in that misidentification of pain, when it's actually intensity, would you be willing to allow yourself to have the intensity and the potency of you? Bike riding is awesome. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, get out in nature. Just know that everything your mind is telling you about that life is a problem or you can't have what you want, just know it's just your mind, and give it a voice, and go down there and speak to the part with kind eyes. Hi Gareth, nice to see you here. And let yourself have that moment of intensity, and stop telling yourself that it's pain. We create pain by the very conclusion that we think we're in pain, rather than saying, oh my gosh, I'm so willing to have an intense life. You can't be up or down all the time. Everything is temporary, and nature knows that. There's a time to bear fruit, and there's a time to put your energy and nutrient into the roots, and there's a time that your leaves have got to fall off. And this is about listening, going deep into that fertile ground of intuition. And when you do that, when you allow yourself to walk around with the discomfort until you're done with it, that's when things take care of themselves. That's when your body heals. That's when your immune system works better. Nature is amazing teacher, Elena. You know, when we actually allow ourselves to feel it, right? You can't heal what you don't feel. So when you allow yourself to feel intensely alive, take a breath. You know, there is no walk on the wild side. Life, we are wild women and men here. You know what your potential is. You know what you came here to do. So stop telling yourself that you don't know, and allow your body to give you the space to be a little more flexible in how hard, you know, we're hard on ourselves, aren't we? We judge ourselves all the time. We're in our minds. No. You know, employ your mind to work for you. Employ the universe to work for you. Send your order out. We are limitless, and yet we limit what we ask for. So true, Ricky. We have a mind and thoughts and emotions. Yeah. So you're the one that thinks the thoughts. You're the one that feels the feelings. And you're the one that has this beautiful multisensory experience, and yet we identify ourselves as the thing, and that we do not have the power to change our point of view. That's flexibility. Yes, that feels good. Go try it out. Let go. See where you land. And when you land and you have a feel into it and it doesn't feel good, bow and arrow. Aim again. See where you land. We're supposed to be here to enjoy the experience of being human and have an adventure of it. Stop making it feel like this eternal suffering. We're addicted to the problem making, and we're addicted to the suffering, aren't we? You don't even know. Exactly. You're the one that thinks the thoughts. And you know what I think is beautiful too, is that I think that if we look at ourselves as this beautiful conduit of the God particle within, that we're all here as an expression of consciousness. We're all here as an expression of God, you know, flinging boulders around and creating. What a gift. Don't spoil the gift. Allow yourself to align your body so that your nervous system can start rewiring to the truth of who you are. And then you get to expand. And then the addiction leaves, and you tap into your creative energy. You raise your frequency. And when you raise yourself up, you raise the collective. What a gift. You know, that is the music, that is the paintings, that is a beautiful vista like this, that is the rain, that is the sun. You are all of it. And yet you keep thinking of yourselves as this limited thing. Okay, so you've got to start thinking more vertically than horizontally. Nature knows how to work in harmonic waves. And yes, there's an electrical component to our bodies, but you are no thing and everything. Would you allow yourselves to play in that arena of just stretching a little bit further outside of your comfort zones today, and giving yourself some flexibility? Stop beating yourselves up. Stop judging yourselves. You know, it's the killer of all dreams and desires, is to stay there in a place of yes, but. What about and? Yes, and. What else is possible? Yes, and I'm going to keep going. Yes, and I wonder what is over the mountain. Yes, and what else can I do with this energy? You'll have to. Amazing. Thank you for being with me here. Yes, and appreciate that you have been the creative genius, Sanjana, that thought the thought. I love that too. You know, celebrate that too. We don't have to make anything wrong. There's no right and wrong here. And the rule isn't a rule unless you make it one. So, you know, we're waking up, aren't we? And we're waking up to a life of being more than we have ever been taught. We have to unlearn and stop following the crap. That's the new dimension that's open and available to you when you fall in love with your life. When you fall in love with I wonder where this road will take me. I wonder who I'll meet on this trip. I wonder how much greater than this could be than what I have come here in the intention of being. Already I've had 3 people call me. I'm going to go to Plett. I'm going to go and see some of my animal clients that I've only known via online sessions. I'm going to go and meet some women down the road that want some join up next week. If we're not open to things changing and having the flexibility to say yes, and I would love to do that, right? Yesterday we talked about knowing your no, but know your yes as well. Fall in love with your life and just go, yes, I love this. It feels good. Remember the heavy and the light, and just go there. You know, I only landed a couple of hours ago, and yes, and let's see what tomorrow brings. I wonder how much of an adventure I can have from that place. Hello, Lynn. Nice to see you here. So, how's this resonating with you today around flexibility? I'm going to keep it short because I have a beautiful friend and a beautiful adventure awaiting me for the rest of today. So where are you not allowing yourself the flexibility and the freedom to create life minute by minute? Turn things 1 degree at a time and just allow yourself to enjoy the adventure of, oh my gosh. And here's another one that I often think that a lot of people misidentify is we think we're afraid. So I want you to also consider in this stream of active appreciation today, when you start looking at where you have created unrealistic expectations and your boundaries are so not there. You haven't just closed the gate that you know that you can open, but you've padlocked it and you've hammered a few nails in there and maybe you've electrified it. Where are you being so rigid that you're actually missing out on the adventure and allowing yourself to dare greatly? That you could just loosen a little bit and tap back into your instinct, that instinctual pull to follow the call and see where you land. Okay, let go of some of these old identifying beliefs and allow yourself to just see the gift of everything. If you take in that everything is a gift, then you live in the gift, that you are a gift. And then it's not this death sentence. You actually get to enjoy the ride. You get to enjoy the spontaneity rather than thinking you have to be afraid of something. Where are you misidentifying that there's something to be afraid of because it's something you haven't experienced yet? It's like meeting a stranger and all those crazy shit things that our parents used to say, don't talk to strangers. Well, they're only strange until you say hello. And obviously, if you're tapped into your intuition, you're going to know whether this is something you want to move toward or something that you want to move away from. So enjoy the ride, because you're going to screw up. Things are not going to work out the way that you planned. And you can stay stuck in all the reasons why this is happening to you, or you can actually start to appreciate that everything is happening through you. And when you get that, it's the full Monty. It is plugging into cosmic Google, and it is ordering from the universal smorgasbord of life that is saying, and what else would you like? And what else would you like? Let life happen through you, please, rather than stress out about how you don't screw it up. And trust that you are always aiming for better, and life is big and it's beautiful. And stop stressing out. Take a breath, push pause. Oh, good. Exactly. Yeah, if you keep waiting for the money to show up, what are you missing out on that's bigger than the money? Thank you for that, Elena. I'm so glad you got an aha. Yeah, so what if it's actually excitement and you have been told that there's something to be afraid of? And I talked about this a couple of days ago. You know, it's like, think about the moments when you were just this beautiful sensate feeling being, and you were about to to take your first step as a child, or you're crawling, and in fact I was crawling, and I have a nice little scar under my chin because apparently I fell down a whole bunch of steps. But maybe you're taking your first proper crawl, and oh my God, when you start going, you're just getting faster and faster, and you're gaining momentum, and you look back and you see this look of horror on your mother's face because you're about to tumble down a whole lot of stairs and hurt yourself. So a lot of these are unconscious commitments that we've made, and because we've borrowed that vagal tone from our parents, pre-7-year-old, before we learn to get a really strong vagus nerve, that intuitive knowing for ourselves, we borrow that from our parents. And it's these tiny microcosmic little stories that actually shape us into growing up thinking, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun, I need to be really, really afraid. Okay, so look at where you have perhaps misidentified excitement as fear, and ask your body. Tune into your body, because the kidneys don't really know the difference between excitement and fear. It's that same creative juice that gets pumping through our veins and wants to move us forward into a beautiful life. So stop shutting yourself down. Trust that you are always better than you think you are, that things are going to turn out more than you could ever imagine possible. And no matter what your mind concluded, you have the power of choice to change your mind in any given moment. That is the art of appreciating flexibility. So stay in the moment of pleasure. Please and sure, make up pleasure. You know, I love words. Laugh at yourself. Stop taking yourself so seriously. And stop seeing everything as black and white, as consequence of action. That's not you. Who does that belong to? Who told you that if you do this, or you screw up, or you fall down, or you perceivingly fail according to somebody else's expectation? Remember, nobody breaks your heart. They break your expectations. Just relax for a minute. Push pause and let life have at you. Stop pushing and forcing. Remember, there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to prove. Nothing to hide, nothing to prove. Spirituality is just pure pleasure. Please and sure. That's the permission to say yes to you. Stretch outside your comfort zone. Live in the moment. And not in unrealistic expectations. You are the joy in your body. Listen to it. Please listen to it and go and have a beautiful day. Okay, you are so worthy. That you are worthy beyond measure. Just by you showing up in your body, you are worthy beyond measure. Stop living from the belief that you're going to screw it up. You're already enough. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to get to. There's nothing to get. Just grow, expand yourself out beyond those edges of, oh my gosh, this is scary. What if I can't do this? Live like the gate got left open. That's the uncaged life. That is the freedom of a suitcase entrepreneur. If you want to go travel like I do, make it happen. Take a risk on yourself. Invest in yourself. Get some skin in the game. That's the untethered life. And it's big and it's beautiful. Let life enjoy you. Okay? You can't not try to be happy. You're already worthy because you exist, and there is no force there. Okay? So remember, nothing to hide, nothing to prove. I'm going to go and have a beautiful glass of wine, and I'm going to look at this beautiful rainy day. I'm going to show you. I'll take you outside for one last look, and post your comments and questions. Share this. Let me know where you are not allowing yourself to have the flexibility and the freedom and the ease and the effortlessness of just going wherever life takes you, and stop taking yourself so seriously. Okay, here you go. I'll show you this beautiful rainy day. The clouds are really setting in. The boats are out. Here comes the ferry, taking people over to Featherbed Island. And I will see you tomorrow. I might be with the horses, who knows? But let me know what's happening. I love you guys. Take care. Bye. Mwah.